Hazards. What are they? How do you protect yourself? How do you respond after an emergency? These are questions we'll be answering today. I'm Jill Smith, your host for the WEMA News Report. Joining me today will be our field correspondents Steve Johnson and Susan O'Connor. Steve, in this area of the country, hazards come in all shapes and sizes, don't they?
They do, Jill. And no hazard is quite as well known in this area as the tornado. In this area of the country, tornadoes are common. Tornadoes can be very dangerous, sometimes even deadly. Tornadoes are formed from powerful thunderstorms and appear as rotating, funnel-shaped clouds with wind speeds sometimes reaching up to 300 miles per hour. Tornadoes can cause massive damage when they touch the ground and have been known to completely demolish large buildings and other structures. The most important thing to do is to take shelter when a tornado is nearby. If you are at home, go to a basement or underground shelter. If you don't have a basement, find an inside room or closet on the first floor away from any windows. If you are outside, lie in a flat ditch and cover your face with your hands. Do the same thing if you are in a car and cannot take shelter in a nearby building. If you are in school, it is very important that you follow instructions from teachers. That is why it's always important to pay attention during tornado drills so you will know exactly what to do to stay safe. After a tornado, Jill, it is important that you stay with an adult and watch for any broken glass or power lines. If you see any injured people, don't move them unless they are in danger. Call for help right away.
Steve, can you tell us the difference between tornado watches and tornado warnings?
Good question, Jill. When a tornado watch is issued, that means that weather conditions are such that a tornado is possible. A tornado warning means that an actual tornado has been sighted and you should take cover immediately.
Thank you, Steve. Knowing the difference between tornado watches and tornado warnings is important, not only for keeping safe from tornadoes, but also in other emergency conditions such as flooding. We now take you to field correspondent Susan O'Connor for more.
Thank you, Jill. As you know, flooding can occur in a variety of ways. Storms such as hurricanes can bring heavy rains, which can often be too much for man-made drainage systems to handle. When this happens, rivers and drainage ditches can overflow, causing areas to be flooded with water. It's important to know that a flood watch, or a flash flood watch, means that flooding may happen soon and to stay tuned to a radio or television for more information. A flood warning or flash flood warning means that a flood is currently happening and that you should go to higher ground immediately. In the event of a flood, it's important that you do your best to stay away from the floodwater, which is very dangerous. Floodwater could knock you off your feet, causing you to be swept away in the floodwaters. Also, you should stay away from power lines during a flood. Power lines may still be active and you could be electrocuted. Floods can be very scary, so stay with an adult and make sure that your family has a disaster supply kit ready. As we've seen with the past flooding nationwide, you never know when you'll need it most.
Thank you, Susan. We'll be back right after this.
Remember when safety was a way of life? When neighbors looked after each other like family? Well, those days are back with EMA Productions' classic CD collection. Whales, Drones, and Siren Tone. You'll get all the beloved classics like This Is Only a Test by Ready Freddy and the Prevention. The Long High-Pitched Tone by Tommy Twister and the Thunderstorm. The High-Low Tone by Safety Sam and the Hazards. And you'll even get the Whoop Tone by Willie Warning and the Depot Gang. Don't miss this exclusive offer, available only from your Emergency Management Agency.
And we're back. When it comes to safety, preparedness is about knowing what to do in any hazard. Steve, tell us how preparedness can help us with fire safety.
Well, Jill, being prepared is important in any emergency, and fire safety is no exception. The fact is, most accidental fires can be prevented. You've heard not to play with fire, and that is very true. Never, ever start a fire. In the event of a fire, you should first tell an adult and call 911. Never try to put out the fire yourself. If you are caught in a fire at school, make sure to follow instructions given by teachers and other school officials, just like in a fire drill. If you're at home, never hide during a fire. Stay low and get out of the house immediately. Staying low will help you avoid breathing in dangerous fumes and smoke. One of the most important things to remember is that your house should have a working smoke detector. which will give you warning if a fire starts in your home. Get help from a parent or adult to check to see if your smoke detector is working properly. And it's also a good idea to make sure you have a working fire extinguisher in your home too. And remember, you and your family should have a fire plan at home so everyone knows what to do and where to go if there is ever a fire.
Thank you, Steve. Susan O'Connor joins us to discuss what to do in the event of a chemical emergency.
Jill, our local EMA is hard at work helping us to be prepared for any emergency. This includes helping us to know what to do in the event of a chemical emergency at the Anniston Army Depot. Chemical weapons destruction is underway at the depot, and it's up to us to know what to do in the event of a chemical accident. And what we do depends on where we are. That's why it's very important that we all know our zones for home, work, and school. Depending on our zone, we may be told to shelter in place, evacuate, or stay tuned for more instructions. If a chemical accident happens, an outdoor warning will sound with a whoop tone. If we hear the whoop tone, we should go inside immediately. It's very important that we all have a family preparedness plan so we know where to go and what to do if we're told to shelter in place or evacuate. Make sure to practice these with your family. Also, just like in any emergency, it's important for us to have a disaster supply kit on hand at all times. If you do not have one, now's the time to put one together with your family. Back to you, Jill.
Thank you, Susan. We'll be back right after this.
How many times have you been caught without the necessities of life? Once, twice, 3 times? Well, break the cycle and get ready for your very own disaster supply kit. That's right, with your disaster supply kit, you'll have everything you need during and after an emergency. With non-perishable, ready-to-eat food, flashlights, and a working radio with fresh batteries, 2 days' supply of drinking water, vitamins and prescription medication, and other specialty items like diapers and blankets. And the best part is, you won't pay $49.95 or even $29.95. You can make your own disaster supply kit with many items you already have. So what are you waiting for? Prepare your disaster supply kit today.
We've all been told never to talk to strangers, but today we're going to talk about why. Steve Johnson joins us with more.
Thank you, Jill. A stranger is simply someone you don't know. And while not all strangers are dangerous, it's always best to play it safe. We've all heard that you should never accept a ride with a stranger, and we've heard never to take candy from a stranger. But that's just the beginning. If you ever have an uncomfortable encounter with a stranger, you should tell someone you know, an adult, immediately. You should also try and get anything you can to identify a stranger, like what they look like, or a license plate number, if they are driving a car. To help police protect you, you should also know your personal information, like your home phone number, your home address, and your parents' work numbers. And remember, if you are approached by a stranger, never hesitate to tell a police officer. Police officers are our friends, and they will do whatever they can to help keep us safe.
Steve, if a police officer is not nearby, what is the best way to get in touch with one?
Good question, Jill. If a child is ever in any emergency situation, they should call 911 immediately and explain their situation to emergency responders. They will send help right away.
Thank you, Steve. We'll be back right after this.
If you're ever in an emergency situation, there's no room for panic because help is just a phone call away. See a fire? Call 911. Approached by a stranger? Call 911. Has somebody been hurt? Call 911. These are people who are trained to help keep you safe. So when you have troubles, don't settle for less than the best. Call 911 for help. 911 is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call in emergencies only, please.
Today, we've identified ways you can stay safe in any emergency situation. And never forget that your Talladega EMA is ready to help you prepare and respond for all hazards. For more information, log on to areyoureadytogoema.com or TalladegaCountyAL.org/EMA. Thank you for joining us, and remember, it's never too late to play it safe.
Hi, I'm Nelson Bates, Director of Talladega County EMA. I just want to thank the superintendents, principals, teachers, parents, and especially the kids for making this video possible. And as you'll see, they worked very hard on this video.
My mind went blank.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve.
What up, people?
Action.
When this happens,
If a chemical accident
happens, an
an
outdoor warning
will sound with the whoop tone.
And we're back. And we're back. And we're back.
Action.
If a chemical accident happens, an outdoor warning sound will sound.
Start again, go again.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve.
Action.
When this happens,
If a chemical